actually seeing into your heart, you'd get kind of the same thing. You have the evil use of magic and the evil use of poetry. It's
Wow.
And that's what really breaks my heart is these things that what you're finding in psychics is you're finding all the beautiful stuff that holds us together and that we share and we should talk about, and somehow it's not enough for the person to just say, well, this is what I feel in my heart, and maybe it overlaps yours somewhat, but they have to bring something supernatural into it. Yeah. Just like the magic trick isn't good enough, they have to bring something else. Now, you've had a lot of experience with litigation, and you've had a lot of people. Yes. And a few weeks ago on our show, someone wrote in with a really interesting question. And Godot, I'm going to be looking at you for this because I forget all the names. The boy who was kidnapped for 4 years.
Shoot, I don't remember his name. I'm sorry. I'm blanking on it right now.
Sean. Now, Sean, his parents were on the Montel Williams show.
Actually, foster parents. But
foster parents.
That's true.
And Sylvia Brown told them that he was dead.
That's right.
She said he was dead, and even gave some information
near a couple of rocks.
Yeah, where he would be found,
where his bike. His bike was in a.
That his bike was taken away and sold in a foreign country or whatever.
Dumped in another state, in a garbage
state.
dump in another state.
Yeah. So from a skeptical point of view, she's just throwing a lot of stuff out there, and if she happens to hit, then she's a genius. Now that that kid's been found, well, okay is perhaps too strong a word, but he has been found, and we now know what happened to him in those whole 4 years.
Yep.
Why couldn't the parents sue Sylvia Brown or Montel for emotional distress caused by information that was not correct? Do you know what I mean?
The same old case, Penn, if they get the right lawyer. Yeah, and if the opposition lawyer isn't as smart as the lawyer they get, that's essentially it. Because in a case like this, you'd have to prove some sort of damage. If you prove emotional damage, what are the doctor's bills?
Well, I think I have kids, and I think the emotional damage is pretty clear.
Yeah, but
she hurt me by saying that to them. You know what I mean? Yeah. I got kids. There's nothing more exciting than just the imagination, the possibility that could happen. If she said that about my kids, you'd go nuts. I don't know how you're not insane.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah,
of course.
I mean, and that's the people that do say, that these psychics aren't doing any harm; they're just bringing comfort. I think this is one case where I think anybody would think that that's really doing emotional harm.
Oh, yeah.
There's no way that's bringing comfort. If you want to say that the kid had been dead and she had got, let's say, lucky, and the kid is dead, because in her business, that's what lucky would be, then maybe she gave them some closure earlier. But I don't see what the moral justification, even if she had these powers, even if you don't take the skeptical point of view, if she's going to be wrong that often, what is the price that we're paying for
Exactly. There is no moral justification for this whatsoever. But I go further than that in a slightly different direction. What about Larry King and Montel Williams now?
Sure. Yeah.
These are horrors in the business. Anything will do. They don't care whether she does anybody any damage. They certainly don't care whether she's right. They know the gimmick she's using. They're intelligent guys. They're not fooled by it, but they encourage it.
Yeah, it's and you've been on Larry King, several times.
Won't do it
with
again,
Sylvia. You've been on with Sylvia,
oh yes,
weren't you?
with Sylvia several times, yeah.
But it's always an ambush when the skeptic's on, isn't that?
Oh
right?
yes. Well, not only that. When I found out how very carefully the Larry King phone calls that come in are vetted, they're only accepted if they're the kind of thing that King would like to have asked, and they're people that hate me. This kind of thing. Not only that, but I found out another gimmick, clever gimmick too. What they do is they put the person on hold if the question is not wanted, and they leave them on hold for the whole rest of the program. And therefore their phone line is tied up. And they're waiting any second at all. Larry may call on me, and I want to be here.
Well, I got to say that we're also guilty of that. We take phone calls,
but we do take ones that disagree with us.
We do take ones that disagree with us, but in the business of doing a call-in show like that, you have a finite number of lines, and you have people you think you're going to get to, and they are screened. We do screen them just to get rid of nuts. Absolute nuts that aren't going to be saying anything. I play harmonica. You get that kind of call.
One chap did get through on the Larry King show with Sylvia, by saying something like he wanted to know something about his lost brother who disappeared in Japan or whatever, and they put him on, and he said, Sylvia, why isn't you don't take the JREF's $1 million offer? And, of course, this was throwing them a loop, and I'm sure that Sylvia just ground her teeth. You could probably hear it if you listened to the tape carefully. And then she fumbled around, of course, and said the money wasn't really there, and I'm not a man of God, so she has nothing to do with me, etc. Rather poor excuse, yeah.
Now, another one of your the people that you've been, at least as long as I've known you, you've been a thorn in his side is Uri Geller.
Who?
And, exactly.
Yeah, unfortunately.
But now, what's going on with him in Israel?
Oh, boy, he's having a hard time. The last I heard from, and I've heard from all of the newspapers in Israel, all of the newspapers have been coming down on him for the series he's doing there where he says, note, that he's looking for a successor. Right. Of course he is. And he's got every lame duck magician from the local magic club, the Israeli whatever society, conjurers or magician society. He's got them coming on the program, and they are specifically instructed not to say that they have psychic powers, but not to say that they don't have psychic powers. So they murmur things about Kabbalah and, Indian mysticism. And so they give you the hint that maybe they're doing this stuff by the real means.
Have you seen any of these shows, any of the video?
Yes, I have, and of course they're done in Hebrew, so I don't.
I always heard it was kind of a knockoff of Star Search or American Idol or one of those.
That's exactly. They're borrowing on the success of those shows here, of course. And
Uri's the judge and Paul Abdul. And does he have a panel or is it just him?
No, just him.
And he's just there, and they perform for the camera?
They perform, and everybody applauds politely. And some of them are half good, most of them are half bad, mostly half bad. But the way they do the thing, the way they judge it, the way they evaluate it afterwards is that they mustn't say anything about whether the performance is real. And Geller never gives an opinion. Yeah, that's the safe way to go, of course, because then he does some of his tired old stunts. Because he's only got 6 tricks in his whole act.
He's
anyway.
not still doing spoon bending, is he?
Spoon bending and the occasional fork every now and then.
Because if you really had the power, what you want to do is bend silverware.
Yeah, you'd think so.
I can do anything. I think I'll bend a spoon.
Yeah. We got James Randi from the James Randi Educational Foundation. That's RANDI.org. You should certainly go there and check it out. He has $1 million prize for certain psychics, if they like Sylvia Brown or Uri Geller, if they can prove they have these real powers. And we'll be back with more. Randy, Michael Godot is sitting here with me. My name is Penn Jillette. We're on the